The 2014 season of the Indian Premier League, abbreviated as IPL 7 or Pepsi IPL 2014, is the seventh season of the IPL. The Kolkata Knight Riders are the champions, having won the 2014 season. There are 8 teams this season, one fewer than in 2013 after the withdrawal of the Pune Warriors India. A part of the season was held outside India after Home Minister Sushil Kumar denied the provision of security the league demanded as it clashed with the 2014 general election. The tournament is jointly hosted by India and the United Arab Emirates. The opening 20 matches were held in the UAE at 3 different stadiums in Abu Dhabi, Dubai and Sharjah, with the tournament returning to India on May 2. The player auction took place on 12 and 13 February 2014. Unlike previous seasons, the auction was in Indian rupees rather than US dollars. Background: hosting. On February 14, Sanjay Patel, who is the BCCI secretary, told the media after the IPL Governing Council meeting, "As far as possible our interest is to hold the IPL in India. Then, probably, South Africa is the preferred venue at the moment." The initial part of the season was held outside India, to avoid adding to the existing security demands for the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. South Africa, Bangladesh and UAE were initially shortlisted as alternative venues. The BCCI Working Committee's meeting on February 28 decided that a final decision would be taken once the schedule for the general election was announced, as the BCCI wanted to have as many matches as possible hosted in India due to pressure from the sponsors. On March 2, 2014, it was reported that Sri Lanka, which was under fourth consideration for hosting the matches, has been ruled out due to prospect of rains in the country during the period. On March 5, 2014, when the dates for general elections were announced, IPL chairman Ranjit Biswal stated that 60% of the tournament would be held in India. Also, South Africa as an alternate venue has effectively been ruled out since they wanted to host the entire tournament, leaving chances open for UAE and Bangladesh. On March 12, 2014, it was announced that the tournament would begin on April 16 and at least 16 matches will be played in United Arab Emirates till April 30. From the 1st to May 12, BCCI has approached the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, seeking permission to play IPL matches in India in cities where the polling has concluded in the respective state. If it is not possible to play in India during this period, IPL matches will be held in Bangladesh. All matches after May 12, which is last day of polling for the elections, will be played in India. No matches will be played on May 16, given it is the day for counting of votes for the general election. The final was played on June 1, 2014. Schedule: the schedule of the first phase of the IPL 2014 was announced on March 19, 2014. The first phase of the tournament consists of 20 matches played from 16 to April 30, 2014 in the United Arab Emirates. The opening match of the tournament was played between the defending champions Mumbai Indians and the Kolkata Knight Riders on April 16, 2014 at the Sheikh Zayed Cricket Stadium in Abu Dhabi at 6:30 p.m. local time. From May 2 onwards, the 36 games of the regular season and the 4 playoffs will be played in India across 10 venues. Staff changes: Gary Curson signed up as head coach of Delhi Daredevils. Kolkata Knight Riders appointed Wuwagiri Raman as batting coach, while Wasim Akram returned as bowling coach after taking break for IPL 6. Royal Challengers Bangalore announced Daniel Vettori as head coach and Alan Donald as bowling coach, while Trentwood Hill was appointed as batting and fielding coach. Darren Lehmann was not able to continue with Kings 11 Punjab due to his commitments with Australian cricket team. Sanjay Banga was appointed as Kings 11's assistant coach. As former Indian cricket team captain Rahul Dravid decided to quit playing IPL after April 2013, Rajasthan Royals team management decided to appoint him as the chief team mentor of the Rajasthan Royals team. Insurance: since this year's IPL will be played during the Lok Sabha elections in the country, reinsurance companies have asked to double the rates for insurance cover of IPL 7. The insurance cover includes parties like BCCI, franchisees and media partners. The insurance companies expects a high security danger threat during the elections period in the country. The companies are demanding Rs 140 million for a cover of Rs 9 billion this year, which is exactly double to the last year price of Rs 70 million. Broadcast: Times Internet decided to share IPL digital rights with Star India, giving starsports.com streaming rights alongside YouTube, which has been streaming IPL since its inception in 2008. In the UK, ITV4 will show the league for the final time before Sky Sports takes over in 2015. Willow Cricket carried coverage of the season in the United States. Player auction. On December 24, 2013, the IPL Governing Council finalised the player regulations for the 2014 season. All teams were allowed to retain a maximum of 5 players and the rest of the players had to be sent into the auction pool. Retention of players led to reduction of the team's salary cap by a fixed amount, regardless of the players' actual salaries. Some franchises were unhappy with new retention rules. Each team had a starting salary cap of 600 million. 3 franchises retained the maximum of 5 players while Delhi Daredevils retained none. This season's auction saw the introduction of several new rules. For the first time, Indian uncapped players were also into the auction. There is no minimum quota for catchment area players restriction. All player fees was denominated in Indian rupees, but overseas players may choose to be paid in another currency. There was also introduction of the rights to match, which allowed teams to purchase a player from their 2013 squad in the auction by matching the highest bid. The number of rights to match depends on the amount of players retained by the team. Also, the players' salaries will not include their fees for participation in the Champions League 2020. Teams who qualify will pay each player who represents them an additional 10% of his IPL fee. Previously, players who qualified for the CLT20 with their IPL team had to forfeit 20% of their IPL salary to represent another team. On January 27, 2014, BCCI released a list of capped players to all the franchises which would be available for the auction. This list had a total of 233 players from 10 countries. On January 29, 2014, this list was updated to 244 capped players and 651 uncapped players. On February 6, 2014, the final auction list was shortlisted by teams to 514 players. The list was further shortened to 511 players after the withdrawal of 3 players. The highest base price set was of Rs 20 million and the lowest of Rs 1 million. The auction took place on the 12th and 13th February. On February 7, 2014, a plea was filed in the Supreme Court to interfere in the IPL auction in relation to the 2013 Indian Premier League spot fixing and betting case involving Guranath Mayappan of Chennai Super Kings. On February 10, 2014, an IPL spot fixing report finding Mayappan involved in betting was submitted to the Supreme Court. However, the Supreme Court allowed the auction to go through as per schedule. A total of 154 players including 50 overseas players were sold. The list consisted of 80 capped players and 74 uncapped players. 127 players have previously been part of IPL teams. 66 players will represent the same side that they played for in 2013. 13 right-to-match cards were used during the auction. Yuvraj Singh fetched the highest bid of 14 crore while Dinesh Karthik was the second most expensive purchase at a price of 12.5 crore by Delhi Daredevils. Kevin Peterson was the costliest foreign player. Among uncapped players, Khan Sharma was the most expensive at 3.75 crore. Many prominent Indian players and most Sri Lankan and English players were unsold. Venues. The first leg of the tournament was hosted in the United Arab Emirates so that the competition would not clash with the Indian elections, with the second leg to be hosted in India. The M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai was removed as a venue due to a dispute with the municipal authorities. Teams and standings. Top 4 teams qualified for the playoffs, AAA advanced to the qualifier, AAA advanced to the eliminator, league progression. Group stage. Fixtures. Playoff stage, preliminary. Final. Statistics. most runs, the player with the most runs at the end of the tournament receives the orange cap. Source: Cricinfo. Most wickets, the player with the most wickets at the end of the tournament receives the purple cap. Source: Cricinfo. References. External links: official website, tournament website on ESPN. Cricinfo, series page on Wisden India.